हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं भवानी शंकरो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। Hari Om, Hari Om. So this chapter begins with Bhagwan's words. Bhagwan tells Arjuna that this body is Kshetra and the knower of this body is Kshetrajna. But these are the two expressions of that supreme reality, Kshetra and Kshetrajna. There are infinite varieties, so many varieties of beings are there and infinite jivas are there. So all the bodies are called Kshetra and the seer, knower of the body, Kshetrajna. And Bhagavan says that I am the Kshetrajna in all. Bhagavan had already mentioned that all the Kshetra is himself. He showed the Vishwaroop. But now he says the Kshetrajna in all the bodies is myself. But to recognize that Kshetrajna and to recognize the nature of Kshetrajna as that of Ishvara, as Brahma, is very, very subtle, very difficult. So in order to prepare us for this revelation, we have to acquire certain values. And they are mentioned by the 20 values, amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam, etc. So after acquiring these values, when we listen to the teacher who reveals that supreme knowledge, he tells us that you, the Kshetrajna, you are actually Brahma. You, Kshetrajna, is Anadimat Param Brahma. But that Brahma, Kshetrajna's Brahma, cannot be said as Sat, cannot be indicated as existing in this way. All that which exists, we can express how it is existing. Even the subtlest thing of this world, we express how it exists, what is its nature. But this Brahma is so subtle, it cannot be indicated as existing. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So it cannot be said as non-existent also. So na sat tan na asad uchyate. Because whatever we express existing, we express by showing its jati, then a guna, kriya and sambandha. Means we can express certain things by classifying them, that it is of this class. Or we can show a thing by its action or its expression, some kriya. Or one can indicate by showing some qualities, guna, or some relationship, sambandha. But Brahma doesn't have any jati, it doesn't have any, it is not of type, it is not one of many. Therefore, it has no class, it has got no type which can be used to indicate it. Nor there is any kriya in that Brahma There is no kriya. It is in the scripture also it is indicated as nishkalam, nishkriyam, shantam. There are no parts and there are no activities in Brahma. So it cannot be indicated through kriya, nor is there any guna in Brahma, quality. So it cannot be indicated with some quality also. Nor is there any relationship of anything with that Brahma. Because it is ekameva advitiyam, it is one only. So nacha sambandhi ekatvat, advayatvat, it is advaya. Avishayatvat, there are no objects there. And atmavat, and it is our own self. Na kenachit shabdena uchyate, therefore it cannot be expressed through any words that Brahma is of this type. So it is extremely subtle. But it exists. So how do you know that Brahma of this nature, which cannot be indicated as neither as Sat nor as Asat? How does one know? So Bhagavan says the presence of that Brahma is known through the presence of this world and the presence of all beings. From the presence of the world, from the presence of all beings, we know the presence of that Brahma, though that Brahma cannot be seen or known directly. See, just as I gave example of this virus also. This virus is so subtle, this coronavirus, that we cannot see it. We wear mask, different types of mask, but it can penetrate lot of this mask also. It's very subtle. And how it enters, it can enter our body through our nose, through our eyes, through our ears, through our mouth. But we can't see it. So how do we know that it is there and it has entered the body? We know by seeing the effect of its presence. The person start showing some symptoms, some fever, some loss of smell or something like that. So the symptom is seen. From that we come to know that a virus must be there inside. Similarly, that Brahma cannot be seen, cannot be indicated with any words. Even scriptures talk about it as neti neti. So how do we know that Brahma is there? We know about its presence from the presence of this world and the presence of our own self. Though Brahma is beyond this world and beyond the self as known to us. So that is indicated now in the next verse. Though the Brahma is very subtle, very difficult to comprehend, it cannot be put into words, but still the scriptures teach us about this Brahma. That is the most amazing, most mysterious thing. Brahma being so subtle, but still the Shastra, they have their own technique of conveying the existence of this Brahma and also teaching us that the method of realizing Brahma. So how it is done? That is said now in the 13th verse. Bhagavan says, Sarvatah panipadam tata sarvatokshishiro mukham sarvatah shrutimaloke sarvamavrutya tishtati. He says that Brahma has got hands everywhere and legs everywhere. That Brahma which was indicated as cannot be said as existing or not existing has got hands everywhere and legs everywhere. Acha. Sarvatah panihi padam. Sarvatah panayah padascha. Asyeti sarvatah panipadam. Tad neyam. That neya, kshetrajna, that Brahma has got hands and legs everywhere. Shankaracharya ji writes कि सर्व प्राणी करण उपाधि भी क्षेत्रज्ञ अस्तित्वं विभाव्यते. From the presence of the upadhis like these hands, legs, body, etc. of all beings, the presence of the kshetrajna is understood. From the functioning of our body, the presence of kshetrajna is understood. See, when I am alive, the body functions, the hands, the legs, they do their respective work. So amazing. Though this body is made up of matter, only five matter. Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, they are just put together in a particular combination, permutation to make this body. It is made up of all different types of chemicals having physical and chemical properties. Our bone, our blood, all the muscles, the skin, the different organs. What are they? Just made up of matter, chemicals. And nowadays, a lot of research is being done to even prepare artificial organs and artificial blood. And once they could make that, it will help deal with various diseases and all. So this body is made up of matter, but still we see the body functioning. So how does it function? We say, oh, life is there. But what is this life? Pranas. But what is this prana? It's a kshetrajna only expressing through the prana. So when I am awake, the body functions. When I am dreaming, again the body, though it is lying down, all the activities of the body goes on. And the mind, it functions to show me different dreams. But when I am asleep, even when I am asleep, the body continues to function because the pranas are there keeping the body alive. There is warmth in the body, the circulation, the digestion, the breathing, all these things goes on even when I am asleep. Even when a person goes into coma, the function of the body continues, the breathing also goes on. Because through the breath, means through the pranas, the kshetrajna is there present in the body. But when that prana leaves this body, means when the Kshetrajna who was expressing through the pranas leaves the body, what happens? The body just falls down dead. And if you just physically observe, every part of the body is there intact. Nothing is missing. The skin is there, the muscles are there, the bones are there, the heart is there, kidney is there. Every organ, everything is there. And just now that body was breathing, it was warm. But next moment, the pranas, they depart from this body and nothing happens there. As I mentioned yesterday, only that Dhananjaya Vayu remains, one aspect of that prana, which then disintegrates this body also. But nothing is there. That expression of Brahma as life, as its presence in the body, disappears with death. But when we are alive, we experience waking, we experience dream, we experience deep sleep in this body. So, in this body, my presence is there. Therefore, this body is alive. My means Kshetrajna, I the Kshetrajna, expressing through the pranas, keep the body alive. So the hands, the legs, and every organ of the body functions. But who am I, the Kshetrajna, this Brahma, who cannot be called Sat nor Asat? In deep sleep, if I want to know myself as that Brahma, when I contemplate on my deep sleep, I cannot say anything about it, that it is this way, that way. If somebody asks me about my waking personality, I can give a big lecture on who am I. If somebody asks me, who are you in your dream, I can say a lot of things about that also. But if someone asks me, who are you in your deep sleep, I can't say anything. I can't say anything about it. Only thing I can say is I was existing there. But what was my nature? Nothing can be said. So that is that Kshetrajna who is Brahma. So that Brahma, presence of Brahma is experienced in this body through the functioning of the body. The very fact that the body moves and all the functions happen, that means that Brahma is present as Kshetrajna in the body. So amazing, I tell you. So not only in my body, it is present in all the bodies. And who is the Kshetrajna? That Brahma only. So the Shruti says, scripture says that Brahma has got hands and legs everywhere. It has got hands and legs everywhere. But when you only try to understand that Brahma doesn't have any hands, doesn't have any legs. But from the hands and legs of all the beings, we know the presence of that Brahma. So Sarvata Pani Padam Tata, not only hands and legs, but Sarvatokshi Shiro Mukham, it has got Akshi everywhere, eyes, Shira, head, Mukham, mouth, everywhere. In deep sleep, I don't see, I don't hear, I don't taste, I don't touch. But in waking state, I see, I hear, I taste, I touch. I not only now I am sitting here and seeing you, but you are also looking at my this live streaming. So who is seeing all this? The same Brahma who has got eyes everywhere. In all the eyes he is seeing. In all the ears he is hearing. In all the mouth he is speaking. So amazing, I tell you. Tat sarvatokshishiro mukham. Sarvata shrutimaloke. It has got shruti, means ears. It everywhere. Sarvataha. Sarvata shrutimaloke. Sarvam avrutya tishtati, pervading everything, it exists. So the existence of this Brahma, we come to understand from my own existence. It is so amazing that though this body made up of matter, it becomes alive. Though all these senses made up of matter, it comes alive and functions. And though the body remaining same, but that prana, if it departs, see, when prana departs, kshetrajna also departs. Then nothing functions. See, the kshetrajna is understood only with respect to the body. Only when we have body, there is the experience of waking, dream and deep sleep. And we experience ourselves as the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. So, I am indicated in the scripture as waking Atma, Jagrat Atma, Swapna Atma, Sushupta Atma. So I as a waker, I as a dreamer, I as a deep sleeper. But all these states of experience is only with respect to body. They have nothing to do with that Kshetrajna, Brahma. Brahma doesn't go to sleep. Brahma is not awake. And when this prana leaves this body, then that Atma is called Pretatma. And in that Pretatma there is neither Jagrat Avastha, nor Swapna Avastha, nor Sushupti Avastha. Because these avasthas are there with respect to this body. Then he is just a Pretatma. Means that Kshetrajna along with his Sukshma Sharir. Means only the Sukshma Sharir is there in the presence of that Supreme Brahma. So how do we know the presence of Brahma? From the functioning of this body, of all the bodies. Therefore the scripture says, Sarvata Panipadam Tata Sarvatokshishiro Mukham. Shankaracharya ji writes in his commentary that this Brahma being so subtle, it is indicated with the help of this Upadhi. First, the scripture says that Brahma has got hands and legs. Recognize that Brahma. And once that Brahma is recognized, we come to understand that there are no hands and legs in Brahma. Though Brahma is expressing through all the hands and legs, but if you come to recognize Brahma, Brahma doesn't have any hand, doesn't have any legs. So upadikrutam mithya rupam api astittvadigamaya neya dharmavat parikalpya uchyate sarvata panipadam ityadi. Only with respect to upadis we see the differences. We see differences in Kshetrajna also. I say I am different, you are different, she is different, he is different. This difference is only with respect to the upadis, with respect to the body. And with respect to this body only, that Brahma is indicated as having many hands, many legs, many eyes, many heads, many mouths. But all this is to, first of all, to convey to us the presence of this Brahma. It is not something abstract. It is not just an idea, a theory. It is our direct experience. We can see our own presence through this body. The very fact that our body is present and alive, that means I am there. And the very fact that I am there, that means Brahma is also there. Because Brahma alone is expressing as I, Kshetrajna. And that Brahma alone is functioning, seen to be functioning through all these equipments. Though Brahma is one, in order to indicate that Brahma, the scripture uses this technique. This technique of indicating that Brahma is called Adhyarop Apavad. Shankaracharya writes, Tatha hi sampradaya vidam vachanam Adhyarop Apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. Prapanchate. Through the technique of Adhyarop and Apavad, that Brahma is indicated. Okay. Now let us try to understand this. In mathematics also we use this technique. Suppose I tell you that there is one person who ate 28 mangoes in 7 days. Person ate 28 mangoes in 7 days. Every day he ate a fixed number of mangoes. And in 7 days he could eat 28 mangoes. So how many mangoes did he eat every day? That is the question. Okay. This person ate 28 mangoes in 7 days. How many, and every day he ate same number of mangoes. So how many mangoes did he eat per day? So if you want to solve this mathematical problem, we say that let us assume that he ate X number of mangoes. Oh, you have given the answer. Let us assume that he has eaten X number of mangoes. Okay. So, X is an assumption taken up. It's a vague figure, vague thing, X. He ate X number of mangoes. So, X multiplied by 7 equal to 28. X number he ate, and for 7 days he ate. So 28 mangoes he ate. So what is the what is the value of this x? So you take that 28 and divide it by 7. So when we divide it, we get the number 4. So once we come to know that x is equal to 4, then what happens to x? X is discarded. X get dissolved. X was used only to make us understand this equation and arrive at that solution. But once solution is acquired, then we can forget that x, because we have come to know that the number 4, every day he ate 4 mangoes. If this is understood, that Brahma, the scriptures want to indicate that Brahma, which is Ekameva Advitiyam, which is one only. Other than Brahma, nothing is there. Everything is Brahma only. That is what the scripture want to indicate. But if they just say that, oh, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, it doesn't help me to comprehend it. When the scripture says you are Brahma, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, I don't comprehend it. It's too difficult to comprehend. See, even in our arithmetic books, the problems are given, and in the end they give the solution also, the answer. So I know the problem and I know that x equal to 4, but if I don't know how to calculate, that answer will not make any sense to me. Answer will not make any sense. I should know how to proceed and arrive at that answer. Similarly, the scripture gives the answer that you are Brahma, that everything is Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Oh yeah, very nice. And you are Brahma. Oh, I am Brahma. Yes. Answer is given, but we don't experience anything. It doesn't make any sense to us. We have to arrive at that answer. And for that, the scripture uses the technique of Adhyarop and Apavada. Assumption and then negating that assumption once the answer is reached. Just as we said, we assume that x number of mangoes he ate, and when we arrive at that answer, then we throw away that x. We don't have to use it. You understand? So, at present, though Brahma is one and everything is Brahma, what is my experience? I experience myself and I experience this world. Okay, listen carefully, all of you, pay attention. At present, you experience yourself and this world. Other than that, we don't experience anything. Brahma, God, Ishvara and all are just words which we have heard in the Shastras. But what is my experience? I experience myself without any doubt. Nobody can convince me that I am not existing. I exist. And the world also exists. Nobody can convince me that world doesn't exist. Those who say world is mithya, they are wrong. World exists, I exist. Okay. But the problem is, I think I am part of this world. World is there and I am part of this world. So that is a misunderstanding. And I don't recognize my actual nature as that Brahma, and I don't recognize the actual nature of the world as Brahma. So I think this world is made up of matter and I am part of it. I did not create the world was there when I was born, and I am part of this world. Means my body is made up of the material of this world only. So I experience myself, I experience this world. Scripture wants to teach us that the world is Brahma, I am Brahma. So the scripture first brings in this adhyarop, assumption that this world is created by Brahma with his power. That power is called Prakriti or Maya. So Brahma with his power has created this world. So what is the assumption? Actually Brahma and his power are not different from each other. Brahma itself is his power and power itself is Brahma. But first that assumption is taken, that is called adhyarop, that Brahma is there and he has got his Shakti called Maya or Prakriti. And that Brahma is called Ishvara and his Shakti is that Maya or Prakriti. So the scripture says that Ishvara with his Shakti created this world. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sachara acharam. Bhagavan says, in my presence, my Prakriti has created this world. So that assumption is taken that Ishvara is different and he has got his power and he created this world. Okay. And the scripture also says that same Ishvara with his own power, Para Prakriti, is expressing as the seer of this world, a Kshetrajna. So, we come to understand this world which I am seeing is also come from that Brahma as Ishvara, and I am also Brahma. So the scriptures say that first you understand yourself as separate, different from this world, because you are confusing the nature of this world as your own nature. You are confusing the expression of this world changing and all those things as your own expression. So the first step is to separate yourself from this world. That is called Drik Drishya Vivek. Separating the Drishya from the Drik, the seer. So when I separate this world from myself, I come to understand that when I get separated from all this, I remain as the Kshetrajna. I am separate from the gross physical world. I am separate from the gross physical body. I am separate from the subtle body also. So I am the Kshetrajna. And this world which is seen in front of me is the expression of Bhagavan's Prakriti. Then the scripture says this Prakriti is not different from Bhagavan. So the entire world is Bhagavan's Prakriti, and that Prakriti is one with Ishvara. So the world has become one with Ishvara, is seen as one with Ishvara. Then the seer of the world, the Kshetrajna, is also seen as one with Ishvara. And that Ishvara is that Brahma. So the assumption that there is some Prakriti different from Brahma which has created this world, and there is assumption that through Prakriti Bhagavan himself has become the Kshetrajna, that assumption is then negated and only Brahma alone remains. And as Brahma, when the recognition of myself as Brahma takes place, when I look at this world, I come to know that the whole world is myself. In the state of ignorance, I feel I am part of this world. But when that knowledge happens, I know that the world is part of me. In the 10th chapter also Bhagavan said that in my little part this whole world is existing. The enlightened person comes to understand that in a little part of his being the whole world exists. But in the state of ignorance, when I look, I think I am a little part in this world. So this technique of the scriptures to teach us is called adhyarop and apavad. See now, very, very important. The trouble with studying this Vedanta in English or in any other language is the problem of translation. The translation can destroy the best of teaching. Adhyarop is assumption taken up by the Shastra to teach us Brahma. But there is a similar word, adhyas. So adhyarop and adhyas, similar sounding words, but they have the two different meaning altogether. But in English, both these words are translated as superimposition. But adhyarop is different and adhyas is different. I will tell you what it is. Adhyas is a misunderstanding which I have because of ignorance. Let us say there is a rope. I misunderstand it to be snake, a real snake. That is my misunderstanding. That is called adhyas. It is not true. It is not fact. It is a misunderstanding. But adhyarop is an assumption taken up knowingly by the scriptures to teach us. So first the scripture, because of this adhyarop, talks in the language of Dvaita. It wants to teach Advaita. But the scripture talks in the language of Dvaita, means duality, and then it, after teaching, when we come to comprehend, the Dvaita gets negated. Only Advaita remains. But this adhyas which we have is the product of ignorance. And what is this adhyas which I have? I misunderstand my own nature. I don't recognize myself as Brahma. Means that Kshetrajna is misunderstood. And Kshetra is misunderstood. And I superimpose the qualities of Kshetrajna on Kshetra. And the qualities of Kshetra is superimposed on Kshetrajna. This is called Anyonya Adhyas. The Kshetra changes, I don't change. The Kshetrajna doesn't change. But because I superimpose these qualities on myself, the qualities of the body, I say I am born, I am growing old, I am changing, I am healthy, I am becoming sick. I am a man, I am a woman. All these are qualities of the body, not of the Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is neither man nor woman. And Kshetrajna is of the nature of Sukha, which is experienced when I am alone in deep sleep. Everyone says I slept very happily. So from where that happiness came, it is my nature. But when I wake up, I look for happiness in the world of objects. So the nature of Kshetrajna is seen on the objects, and the nature of object is seen in the Kshetrajna. This is due to my ignorance, and this wrong seeing or misunderstanding is called adhyas. And adhyas is mithya. The world is not mithya. Kshetra is not mithya. Kshetrajna is not mithya. Misunderstanding both is called mithya. In the Adhyas Bhashya of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he explains everything very beautifully. Yushmat ashmat pratyagocharyoho vishay vishenoho tamah prakashavat viruddha svabhavayoho itaretar bhavanupapattau siddhayam tasya dharmanam api itaretar bhava anupapattihi. Both of the Kshetra and Kshetrajna are different. So the nature of Kshetrajna and nature of Kshetra as seen is different. So to misunderstand the nature of one thing for other and other thing for this is adhyas. Adhyas is wrong, adhyas is faulty, and adhyas has already taken place. I have already identified with the body, gross body. I think I am this body. And I am the doer of this action in the waking. I am walking, I am talking. So the scriptures, in order to remove this adhyas, it tells me that no, you are not doing karma in the waking. Vaishvanara is doing. So in order to remove my kartrutva bhavana in this body, the scripture does adhyarop of Vaishvanara. Then that my adhyas get eliminated. Then it does the adhyarop of about Hiranyagarbha to remove my notion that I am the knower and all. And it does the adhyarop of Ishvara to remove my notion that I am the enjoyer. Anyway, so the details are there. But the scriptures does this adhyarop to teach me. And once I come to understand, oh, I the Kshetrajna am Brahma, and this world is also Brahma, and this world is myself, then all this adhyarop is then get dissolved, and the real nature of that Brahma shines forth. So this is the technique. It's called adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. That ekameva advitiyam Brahma, which is nisprapancha. Means there is no activity in that Brahma. It is not a samsari. To teach us about that Brahma, the scriptures uses some assumption in the beginning, and then it negates, and that assumption get negated once we come to understand the truth. Once we come to understand the truth, the assumption get negated. See, therefore, this Vedanta, which we understand through the scriptures, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, to understand Vedanta, we need a teacher. And a teacher who is from the sampradaya, from the tradition. The first teacher of this Brahma Vidya is Ishvara himself. Ishvara alone taught this to Hiranyagarbha, to Vaishvanara, and through all the Rishi Munis. And this teaching has come from that same sampradaya. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is from that sampradaya. And he knows the technique of this Shastra. Therefore, the commentary of Shankaracharya is the best, is the most authentic to understand what the Shastras are teaching, and we will be able to gain that understanding. So here Bhagwan says, कि तथा ही संप्रदाय विदाम. Therefore he says those who are following this sampradaya, they will be able to understand the teachings of the scriptures, which uses the technique of adhyarop and apavad. Assumption, and then that assumption get negated once we come to understand the truth. So what is the assumption of the scriptures? Only one assumption, that Brahma has got this Shakti. First they talk about the Shakti as different from Brahma, and then they say the Shakti is not different from Brahma. The world is the expression of this Shakti, so world is not different from Shakti, and the Shakti is not different from Brahma. The Kshetrajna is not different from Ishvara, and Ishvara is not different from Brahma. So through this technique we are made to understand ourselves as Brahma and this whole world as Brahma. So this sampradaya, understanding it through the proper channel, is very important. And not understanding it through proper channel has given rise to so many different philosophies. Even those who have belief in the Upanishads, in the Bhagavad Gita, variety of different notions they have. Every person, every different person having their different these traditional teachers, they have their different philosophies. Some talk about it as Dvaita, as Advaita, as Vishishta Advaita, as Dvaita Advaita, and all sorts of things. So it has to be understood through proper tradition, traditional teacher, sampradaya. Okay? And that sampradaya is, therefore we say Sadashiva Samarambham. The sampradaya begins with Lord Shiva, with Ishvara, with Hiranyagarbha, and then it has come to even Vedavyasji, and it has come to Shankaracharya, and has come to our own teacher, and from that teacher we learn. So this sampradaya is very important. Otherwise one misunderstands. And Bhagavad Gita itself is enough for our journey. Many people, they feel, oh, Bhagavad Gita we पढ़ लिया, अभी और कुछ पढ़ लेते हैं. Let us study something else, different. If you try to study something different, if it is saying in something different, then it is not talking about the truth. Truth is one. No doubt it is indicated in different words, but this is the technique of indicating as given in our Shastra. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji writes further कि सर्वत्र सर्वदेहा अवयवत्वेन गम्यमाना पाणिपादादयो नेय शक्ति सद्भाव निमित्त स्वकार्य इति नेय सद्भावे लिंगानि नेयस्य इति उपचारत उच्यन्ते तथा व्याख्येयम् अन्यथा. Because of the presence only of this Brahma, all these different hands and legs and body of all the different beings function. Therefore, the Brahma is indicated as having many hands, many legs, many eyes, many heads, to indicate that Brahma. And once that Brahma gets, when we come to know about it, then we come to know it doesn't have, it in its Swarupa there is no hand, there are no hands, there are no heads, there are no eyes. But in the Rupa, we see so many hands, so many legs. Because of the presence of Brahma only, all these hands and legs and eyes and everything functions. So, in the previous shloka, Bhagavan has said that one cannot talk about that Kshetrajna Brahma as Sat, nor we can say it is Asat. So one may think that it is not there. He says, no, it is there. How do you know? You know the presence of Brahma as Kshetrajna, it is present in all the bodies, and because of its presence only, the hands and legs and all are functioning. So the Brahma alone is expressing through all the hands, all the legs. So from the functioning of the bodies of all the beings, we come to understand that Brahma exists. But what is that Brahma? It cannot be indicated as it is of this nature, neither Sat nor Asat. It's very subtle, very interesting, and that is our own Swarupa. It is what we are. We are this Brahma. That is how we are. It's most sublime, most mysterious, and most fascinating. And if you think and go in the direction which the scriptures are showing us, we will be able to catch it. Otherwise, we will get lost in all the words. So many people talking about this Vedanta, they use so many different types of words and different technical things and all, that ordinary people get frustrated then. They say, chhod do ye Vedanta vagere. They get frustrated. But all these words are not required. If you just stick to what the Upanishads are saying and stick to Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's commentaries, he wrote commentary on the 10 Upanishads, on Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. And all commentaries you need not read also. If we can study Bhagavad Gita properly, but nothing else is required. More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to this pravachan again and contemplate and understand. And if you have any doubt, any questions, if you have not understood anything, you can write it down. You can write it on the comment section. Then I will reply to those questions. Okay? Don't keep any doubt in your mind. But tune yourself with the teachings of the Upanishads as taught to us by our great Acharya, Bhagwan Sri Shankaracharya. He is Sakshat Bhagwan only in that Rupa. Okay? So we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Syavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.